Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to be walking through how to enable field history tracking in Salesforce. So the use case we're going to be looking at today is as a Salesforce admin, you probably have users coming to you asking who changed this field, what was the value originally. And so we're going to look at being able to turn on specific fields for history tracking. You don't want to turn it on for all fields because then you're just going to have a lot of data clutter. So you really want to target some primary fields that your stakeholders are asking you what the history of those fields is. If I modified this lead right now, if I were to change certain fields, then that history is kind of lost. It'll tell me who it was last modified by and when they last modified it, but it's not going to tell me what they actually changed on this lead. So to be able to get that information, I'm going to click the gear icon from this lead page and then click on Edit Object. And that's going to take us into our object manager. And I'm going to click on Fields and Relationships from the lead object. And then I'm going to go to Set History Tracking. We'll check Enable Lead History. And then this is going to show me all of the fields that are available for tracking. So again, you won't want to turn this on for all fields, but we do want to turn this on for those key fields. So description, we want to be able to track that. Now, a key thing with long text fields like description is it only tracks the changes. It can't track the old and new values. It just tracks that somebody did change it, just because it would be a lot of data for those long text fields. We're also going to track the email to see if that changes over time. And we definitely want to track our lead status and our lead owner to see if those change over time. And then let's go ahead and save that and jump back to our lead here. And then let's make sure that we add the history onto the page. So we're going to go to the gear icon again and then edit the page for this lead. And then I'm going to search for related, and I'm going to grab this related list single and just drop it right here. And then it's got our activity history, but what I want is our lead history. Now, I turned it on, but it's not on the page layout. So I do need to jump into the page layout that is assigned to this lead. So I'll just click right here. And then I'm going to go to related lists, and I'm going to grab the lead history right here and just drop it anywhere on the page, and then go ahead and save that. And then we can jump back to this page, give it a refresh just to make sure that it worked. And then we're going to save. And then we'll activate this as the org default. And now I do know that I've got this on here twice, so I'm just going to drop it from here. And then we can go back to look at this lead. And there's no lead history because I haven't made any changes. Another thing to note is this is not going to backlog. So if you're trying to find that history, but you didn't have lead history tracking enabled, it is not going to pick up any of that historical information. But so now I'm tracking if we change the lead owner and if we change the lead description. So let's go ahead and change our description here. We'll change this to test description. We're going to change our lead source to phone inquiry, and we're going to go ahead and save that as is. Or actually, let's change our email as well. Let's change it from Tom to Tommy. And then we'll go ahead and save that. And now in my lead history, I can click View All. This is going to give me a little bit better view of this. So it's going to tell us what date this change was made, what field was changed, who changed it, what the original value was, and what the new value was. Now, again, on the description, it can't track that original and that new value. So it just tells me that Trey Dodrell changed to the description of this lead on this date at this time. But for a field like the email, it's actually telling me what the original value was and what the new value is. Now let's jump into changing the owner as well. So we'll just click here and search for, I've got this Trey test user. So I'm going to change the owner. And that's also going to show up in my lead history. So I can go into View All again and see that Trey changed the lead owner from Trey Dodrell to Trey Test on this date at this time. And that's really what the field history tracking is going to enable you to do. Now, I showed you one way to enable field history tracking. If you want to enable this for multiple objects at the same time, or just check that you have it enabled and what fields you have enabled for different objects, there is another way to get to this. So we're going to go to the gear icon again and then just setup. And then in our quick find here, we're going to search for field history tracking. And then as soon as this page loads, it's going to show us a list of all objects in the org that are available for field history tracking. It'll tell us which ones are enabled for field history tracking and which ones are not. So I can see right here, the account does not have field history tracking enabled. But if I search for the lead, now that we turned that on, I can see that it is enabled, and it's enabled for 4 fields. And then it's going to show me which fields that is, which fields those are, and I can check new fields from here, and then I could save those at the top here. And I can do this for multiple objects. So say I want to grab the account, I can go ahead and enable field history tracking, and then I'll grab a couple fields from here, and then let's pick another object here. We'll grab the contact and enable field history tracking. And then we want to track the account name to see if that's getting changed. We want to track their birth date, and we want to track the description again. And now I can save those changes across both objects at the same time. And then I would just need to go and make sure that that history is showing up on their page layouts and their Lightning record pages to see those changes. And that's it. Thanks for watching.